I just listened to every album by the band Elf, and here are my thoughts. So Elf is an early 70s Southern blues rock band. They're most known for their frontman being Ronnie James Dio, who would go on to be a frontman for Rainbow, Black Sabbath, and then his solo band Dio. And I noticed among Dio fans that it's somewhat common knowledge that he started in much calmer, non-metal music before he joined Rainbow. A lot of people don't know how early he started. He started making music in like the early 60s. It's like, kind of early doo-wop rock and roll. That was with a band called Ronnie and the Prophets. But I'm here to talk about Elf today, who formed in the late 60s, 1967 to be exact. They started out as the Electric Elves and only released one single. It's called Hey Look Me Over. And it had a B-side called It Pays to Advertise. I liked these songs, but the recording quality was bad enough that it kind of creates a situation where this is really just for novelty. I wonder if in the future, AI could enhance the recording quality enough to have these be, real songs that could be on rotation on a playlist. Right after this, they changed their name to the Elves, and they record a lot more under this name. It just all happens to be, live bootleg stuff, and maybe some studio recordings, but it doesn't seem like there's any real official releases under this name either. In 2011, actually, so obviously much later, a compilation album was released of a lot of stuff that they recorded under the name of the Elves. The name of the compilation was And Before Elf, There Were Elves. And I bought it when it came out, and had, a lot of good songs on it, some interesting songs, some covers. Out of this whole era, by far my favorite song is a song called Driftin'. This was an original song, and I'll share it at the end of the video, but it is just an amazing song. I absolutely put it on my road trip playlist. Some other good ones, though. Rosemary was a good song. Saturday Night was a good song. Amber Velvet. A couple others. A lot has kind of poorer recording quality. Still enough, though, to tell that the songs are good. So then they changed their name to Elf, and they put out 3 official studio releases before they break up. The first album was released in 1972, just called Elf. And this album has an assortment of songs, a lot of which are like Southern blues with honky-tonk style piano, songs that I thought were okay, with 3 songs thrown in that I thought were amazing. These songs were Nevermore, Gambler Gambler, and Dixie Lee Junction. I'm Coming Back For You was another good song, just kind of on a lower tier compared to the other 3 that I just mentioned. And then every other song was, okay, enjoyable enough to listen to, at least for the novelty that this is Ronnie James Dio singing music that we don't normally associate him with. Next, we have Carolina County Ball, or LA 59, depending on what country you're in. It was released as LA 59 in the US and Japan, but Carolina County Ball everywhere else. This was released in 1974. This one I thought was a little less than their debut album. Mainly because it has fewer songs that just knock it out of the park for me. I thought Ain't It All Amusing and Rockin' Chair Rock and Roll Blues were the best songs on here, although neither of those are as good as the 3 best songs from the previous album. Happy from this album I thought was okay. Rainbow was alright, though I could have been a lot better with better lyrics, I think. At this point, I'm noticing a little bit of a trend with Elf. I noticed it in Rockin' Chair Rock and Roll Blues, noticed it in Dixie Lee Junction, and noticed it in Driftin', where they kind of have this tendency to compromise, not necessarily ruin, but compromise some of their best ideas. And it seems like it's in the interest of doing something different or being a little, interesting. So they'll have this amazing idea that they start a song with, and then they'll throw in a midsection that doesn't fit at all in the song. And I think they do that just to either pick up the energy or try to add some emotional layering when, in these cases that I listed, I would have preferred them just stick with the original concept of the song. One album left. They released Trying to Burn the Sun in 1975. And it was after they had released this, they went on tour supporting Deep Purple, and Ronnie had met Ritchie Blackmore, and they had decided to form Rainbow. But this album, just going back, this album specifically, I think is the best of the 3. It starts out so strong with Black Swampy Water and Prentice Wood, both amazing songs. I think these are their best high energy songs that they've done so far, their best upbeat songs. The whole album's midsection, which goes from When She Smiles to Shotgun Boogie, are all made up of songs that are pretty good. So solid enough midsection to carry out the album, at least until we get to the last two songs, which are Wonderworld and Streetwalker. Wonderworld is my favorite song by this band. It is just perfect in every way, not compromised at all. Every single note, every single line in the song is just absolute perfection. And then the final song of this album, Streetwalker, was really good too. It starts out slow and then just builds up a lot of power over the course of the song. A lot of, kind of like bluesy, jazzy power. So that's what I thought of Elf. Definitely worth checking out, either for the novelty of hearing Dio sing in a different style, or if you're just a fan of classic rock and you want to hear the songs that absolutely stand on their own. Speaking of which, here are my favorite Elf songs.